why do I keep changing my mind about who the greatest basketball players of all time are? I don't exactly change my mind. I'm just not conclusive for when it comes to making a team. I'm talking about an all-star team, best five to put together. Sometimes you can go down into putting their backups in. Ideally, you would do that. People just get lost in that analysis, though. It's easier to do the top five. So I kind of want to talk about that because, that's what I'm into. There's a lot of people into that, but I've learned new stuff. There's stuff I learned about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar that just more information that's come out, stuff I've thought about, and then I went back to Wilt Chamberlain again. So, like Kareem, for instance, if you think about it, he's a better free throw shooter than Wilt Chamberlain. But they changed some rules. Wilt Chamberlain could have shot almost 100% from the free throw line because he could dunk it. He could jump from behind the free throw line and make it every time. I don't know if he'd make it every time, but he'd do better than shooting it, right? So they changed the rule and said you can't jump from behind the free throw line. But bottom line is, Kareem's a better free throw shooter. But if you watch Wilt Chamberlain's game, and I've seen some footage recently, he was that athletic guy, and it doesn't matter what era, generation it was in. He was more athletic than what we've seen. We look at Wembanyama. I forget how to pronounce his name, and he's unique. He's taller than Wilt Chamberlain and other guys, and he's quick. He can play almost like he can play on the perimeter, point guard stuff, and everything. Somewhat, but he wasn't as athletic as Wilt Chamberlain. He's taller though, so I mean he's somebody who could be stand out like a Wilt Chamberlain, similar. But I've gone back to Wilt Chamberlain though after watching some footage, and then you have to look at Bill Russell for his strategy, his game strategy, and the way he plays the game. So it's hard to put Akeem Olajuwon even because he doesn't have as many rebounds as those guys. Is that because of the era? Those guys had talent, man. They were a once in a lifetime talent, and it doesn't matter what generation it was in. So here's the other part I'm looking at. I like Steph Curry as my point guard over Magic Johnson if I want a three-point shooter. I like Steph Curry at point guard, and even LeBron at point guard because he shoots three-pointers sometimes. But Steph Curry is a better three-point shooter. Okay, I could say, well, I can put LeBron at point guard, and he does some things better than Steph Curry, like drives the ball better than anybody in history, pretty much, according to Skip Bayless, who is a LeBron critic. He admits, in his opinion, LeBron's the best, I guess from stats, show it that he's the best driver of the ball in history, driving to the basket. So, if that's correct, and it's got to be close at least. That's nice to have at point guard when you can have Larry Bird at LeBron's position. So I've also thought of putting LeBron at power forward. But is he really going to be better at power forward than Tim Duncan or Bill Russell? It's debatable because LeBron might shoot a few more three-pointers than them. He can almost be like a stretch. He can be somebody who can switch with, if he had Magic Johnson playing. So the problem, though, with Magic Johnson is that he's not a three-point shooter. Can he shoot some three-pointers? Yes. Does he score well? A high percentage when he scores? Does he take high percentage shots? Yes. That's good. Check. Is he a great quarterback? Maybe the best. And he's good at defense, despite what people say. He was a good defensive player. He's a leader in steals of somewhere near the top of all time, top 20 at least. Maybe top 10. Maybe better. I forget. He was really good on his steals statistics. But, so he had to be a good defensive player to make so many steals. So I've got Wilt Chamberlain at center, and I like David Robinson, but Wilt's just, he's unusual, right? And then, so the hard part is power forward to me. Tim Duncan's good, but then you want that person that can do everything, like a LeBron James, for instance. Do you put LeBron James at power forward or Larry Bird at power forward as a stretch four? Or do you put Tim Duncan at power forward, or do you move Bill Russell to power forward and have Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain, but then you don't have a person at power forward that can shoot three-pointers? So then do you put somebody we never hear much about? Do you put Charles Barkley at power forward? He's a good outside shooter, and he can play defense when he wants to. In crunch time. Crunch time, he plays defense. So it depends. It's just, for me to say, put Magic Johnson at point guard, LeBron James at small forward, Michael Jordan at shooting guard, and I'm going to say something about Michael Jordan after this few points. I'm not going to conclude anything here on this lineup. But if you put all of them there, then you're like, okay, well, where's the three-point shooters? The three-point game, some people say you shoot it too much. Yeah, I agree. You don't want to have too much of emphasis on three-pointers. But when you have a well-rounded team, you can add the three-point game and spread the floor and make it even better for all those well-rounded players like Jordan and LeBron. So, Kevin Durant. I think it's hard to choose between Kevin and Durant and Larry Bird. I think it would be easier to decide that if Durant didn't have his Achilles torn, but he still came back good from it. I don't know how their defense measures out. Kevin Durant, it's hard. I haven't studied him in a while in comparing, but I want him at least on my roster, But I have to say Larry Bird. I want it small forward or power forward, but I want Larry Bird on my roster, right? Whether LeBron James is my small forward and Steph Curry. So ideally, I'm just going to give you a lineup real quick before I talk about Michael Jordan. You can go with Steph Curry or John Stockton. John Stockton's a good three-point shooter. He just didn't shoot a whole lot. He kept conservative on shooting, but he's not tall, so when you think of Magic and LeBron, you're thinking, well, John Stockton wasn't that tall. Neither is Steph Curry. But John Stockton can play defense. That's the difference between Stockton and Curry. And when you got Jordan, LeBron, and other all-stars, I think you'll find out John Stockton fits in there really well at point guard. So that's where people don't rank him as high. You put him at point guard and he's got that defense plus a three-point shot. With those guys on his team, I think he's underrated for that. But we'll say, just because Steph Curry's known to be a top, I just don't think he's as good a defensive player as John Stockton. And Steph Curry will shoot more and spread the ball out more. He can get hot more than he can be a big-time scorer at crunch time more than John Stockton could. So we'll say ideally, in one sense, I like Steph Curry. I like Michael Jordan. I like LeBron James and Larry Bird or Tim Duncan, and then Wilt Chamberlain. So then you have my last thing I'll say is Michael Jordan. How do you make him better? Is there anything I can do to make him a better player? Yeah, I'd probably put him at point guard, so he has the ball more symmetry, and have him shoot a few more three-pointers. But you don't have to go overboard, but add a few more 3 points to his game. And other than that, what are his flaws? So you could say a flaw of LeBron is his free throws aren't that great. I think Jordan, if he would have shot more threes, is probably a better natural three-point shooter than LeBron. So, I'm not going to argue who's best on that because they're all different. These guys are all different. I like Chamberlain, but I like the fact that Kareem can shoot free throws. I like David Robinson. I like what Hakeem Olajuwon brings. I like what Bill Russell brings. And the truth is, it's like, who do they fit best with? What 5 guys do they fit best with? And you don't know that until you experiment playing with each other and against different players. Okay, I better stop this too long now.